Today we're going to cook some food in the solar cooker, and we're really big fans of renewable energy. And most people, when they think about renewable energy, think about windmills or wind turbines, solar photovoltaic systems which produce electricity. Although windmills can be used also to pump water, to aerate water. And a lot of people don't think about other forms of renewable energy. There's lots on this homestead. I mean, we heat our home. It was funny, I was talking to the credit card company the other day, and they said, "How much is your home heating bill?" And I said, "Zero," because we heat with wood, and wood is a form of stored solar energy. And so we've carefully chosen to live on this property because we have the solar energy stored in trees. We've got the sun that we capture with our solar photovoltaics. Eventually we'll have a solar thermal system. And one of the other pieces that I picked up many years ago and have used it off and on depending upon how busy we are and how much time we've got and how organized we are as well, is this solar cooker. And so this is a really neat little device. It has a parabolic mirror which concentrates the solar energy. If I can open it up here. There we go. And so this mirror here forms a parabola, and so all the sun that hits it will end up getting reflected back onto this evacuated tube, which needs a bit of a clean actually. And an evacuated tube is kind of similar to your thermos in that it has two pieces of glass, and then they remove all of the air in between it. So there's actually a vacuum in between the outer layer and the inner layer. And you'll notice that it looks black probably on the camera, and that's because the inner layer has a selective coating on it that helps it to absorb the radiation coming from the sun. One of the other really neat things, not only is this a parabolic mirror, but you can actually shift the angle with which the mirror is focused. And so if the sun is higher in the sky, you can have it at more of a horizontal angle. If it's lower in the sky, even in the winter time, which you can use this in the winter, you can have it at a lower angle. This little device right here helps you to focus the sun, and we'll see this better when we get outside, but essentially this little red dot, you want to line the red dot up with the reflection of the light in the middle there, and so all these concentric circles tell you how close to the center you actually are. Now, if you're trying to cook something slower over a longer period of time, you may want to focus the sun in a more oblique angle, so less towards the center, more towards the outside. If you want a hotter cook, then you're going to want to focus the sun closer to that center dot. And so that when it comes to getting the sun focused, you can rotate it left and right. As the sun moves through the sky, you obviously want it to track with the sun through the day. And then the other thing that happens with the sun is it also changes angle during the day as well. So you've basically got two primary adjustments that you can do during the day. And so you want to set an alarm clock or a timer and go out and check it about every hour and a half to make sure that your solar cooker is properly focused. Now you're probably wondering, how the heck do I get the food in here? And so this tray comes out right here, and there's two little bread pans that sit on there, which we're going to load up next. And those bread pans are what is going to hold on to the food. And so once they're full, we slide that back in, take it outside, focus it, and your cooking starts happening. Now on the end, and this is kind of a silly design decision from GoSun, you have a temperature probe. And I'm pretty sure it's on a nut there, so I could change this out down the road, although now that I'm looking at it, I think I'd have to grind off this handle to take it off. So not a very good design. The temperature probe there has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I don't know if those correspond to 100, 200, 300, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or if it's just 9 is really hot and 1 is really cold. I don't know. But so I don't really know what number my ribs are going to want. I'm just going to have to monitor it, and maybe at one point I do actually have a TIG welder, so I could remove this and tack weld a new thermometer on there at some point. So we're going to load the ribs up into the bread pans right now. Okay, so we've got two bread pans. I think I'm missing the second one of these. There's a little tray that goes in the bottom so that things sit a little bit off the bottom. I'm not actually going to use that today. I'm going to put my short ribs in here, and then I'm going to layer them with salt, pepper, and garlic. And we're gonna go for a slow cook. The thing with ribs is there's lots of flavor in them, but they tend to be a bit of a tougher piece of meat. And so you want to kind of go lower and slower on the temperature in order to kind of tenderize it a little bit and make sure that you're getting all the collagen and all the other kind of connective tissues that are so healthy for us, but tend to be a little bit harder to chew on. So, never done ribs in the solar cooker. One of the things that we're interested in, I mean, the solar cooker does a couple of things for us. If the power ever goes out and we want to cook, obviously we can always resort back to using wood. We've got a wood cook stove, and we've got a fireplace outside, I guess, that we can use. And so, you know, those would be options in a power outage. But the solar cooker is another one of those great options for us that we can use to heat our food up in the event the power goes out. The other thing that's kind of cool about them is that, you know, even though we've got tons of sun right now, we could theoretically be cooking with sun because we do have a solar array. But cooking outside is a really nice thing. We really enjoy it overall. It's not nice to cook inside the house when it's hot outside and you just heat the house up. One of the nice things about our house is that it's got all these overhangs on them, which is another form of solar design. You actually want to make sure the sun doesn't come into the house during the summertime, so you keep your house cool and you can sleep at night. But if you get the overhang design right, then you can actually absorb that sun during the day in the wintertime when you actually do want the sun. And so the sun revolves and forms a really big part of our life on this farm. Even though, you know, we're not at the final destination, you know, we don't have a passive solar house yet. These were all decisions that went into purchasing this property. We wanted a house that could be retrofitted to be passive solar. We have a passive solar greenhouse. We have a solar cooker. We have a solar photovoltaic array. We're going to have a solar thermal water heating system at some point. We have wood heat, which is another form of stored solar energy. So you can start to see the theme that plays a really big role in permaculture, which is the use of renewable resources wherever possible. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that one of the things that revolves, or that I think about a lot, is peak oil and what happens to humanity and society. I don't know if that's going to quite fit in there. I think I'm getting a bit overzealous there with that. But peak oil is a really big concern of mine, because so much of our day-to-day quality of life revolves around the use of energy. And so that theme plays pretty heavily into how we design our property on a day-to-day basis. So let's get these loaded up into the oven. We'll take them outside and I'll show you how to set the oven up outside with the little focusing device. We'll check in a couple of times during the day, and then we'll tell you how it turned out and whether we have to make some adjustments in the next cook. Well, we got the pork and the beef ribs into the pans. I had to cut them up a little bit. And now we're going to stick this into the cooker. It just slides in like that. A little bit. Really getting a lot of food into that really tiny space there. And now we're going to carry this outside and set this up. So we've got this sucker put up onto this table here. And if you just come in with the camera a little bit, can you see the dot through the camera there? Little white dot of the sun. So we can adjust the location of that dot, and we can even rotate the solar cooker so that we've got it focused right in the middle. And so we'll get it at maximum heat right now and come back in about an hour and check on it. And if it's too hot, if we want to slow the cook down a little bit, we'll just rotate this either in the vertical axis or the horizontal axis to reduce the intensity of heat inside of the solar cooker. So we'll check back in a little bit once we're well into the cooking phase. Okay, so it's been cooking all day. We're at 4.5, whatever that means. Let's have a look inside. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Actually, it's even looking caramelized in there, which is amazing. So I'd say these are done. We're gonna take these off and we're going to put them on the barbecue And so that's how the solar cooker works. And you'll notice that I've rotated it several times today. So now it's facing the western part of the hemisphere as we're getting ready to eat. And looking forward to trying these bad boys out.
And we're gonna make everyone jealous when they see what we've got growing on the trellis.